Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Gomez and today I'll be reading David Shannon's Duck on a Tractor. The reason I picked this book is because David Shannon is also the author and illustrator of the No David book series, like David Gets in Trouble, David Goes to School, It's Christmas David, and he's also the author of The Bad Case of Stripes, which is one of my favorite books. So let's begin. David Shannon's Duck on a Tractor. Down on the farm, Doug sometimes got wild ideas. One day he decided he could ride a bike, so he did. Then he spotted the tractor. "I bet I can drive a tractor," he said. The other animals weren't so sure, but they all said, "Well, if he can ride a bike, maybe he can drive a tractor too." Duck climbed onto the tractor and looked around. He pushed some pedals and wiggled the metal stick, but nothing happened. Then a shiny little piece of metal by the steering wheel caught his eye. He pulled it out. He pushed it in. Then he turned it. All of a sudden, the tractor shook and it coughed and it rumbled. It began to move. At first, it moved very slowly, but it was fun. Doug drove around in barnyard until he got the hang of it. Then he stopped in front of the other animals. "Climb on, everyone," shouted Duck. Dog was first. He jumped right up next to Duck. "Woof," said Dog. But what he thought was, "We're going on for a ride." To everyone's surprise, Cow clambered on next. "Moo," said a cow. But what she thought was, "This is the silliest thing I ever done." Pig and Pig took a seat in the back. "Oink," said Pig and Pig. But what they thought was, "This sure beats walking." Then came Chicken, Mouse, and Goat. "Squawk," said Chicken. But what she thought was, "Last one on is a rotten egg." "Squeak," said Mouse. But what she thought was, "I can see everything from up here." "Meh," said Goat. But what he thought was, "I'm hungry. Does the garbage dump have a drive-through window?" Next up were Horse and Cat. Cat jumped up gracefully into the tractor. Horse, not so much. "Meow," said Cat. But what she thought was, "I was going to take a nap, but this should be a very interesting." "Nay," said Horse. But what he thought was, "I think I'll rather walk." The only one left on the ground was Sheep. "Bah," said Sheep. But what she thought was, "This is too dangerous." "Get on, Sheep," everyone shouted, but the sheep wouldn't budge. So Duck started driving away without her. "Wait!" cried Sheep. "Don't leave me here all alone." She ran after the tractor and took a flying leap onto it. "Quack," said Duck. But what he thought was, "Woohoo!" Duck was steering the tractor down the lane and onto the main road. And before long, they were driving right through the middle of town. It was lunchtime, so most people were in the diner. They all looked up when Duck and the other animals passed by the window. A little boy named Edison was having lunch with his grandma. "Did you ever?" Grandma gasped. But what she thought was, "A duck on a tractor? That's impossible." "That's totally awesome," Edison shouted. But what he thought was, "No one's gonna believe this." Marcine, the waitress, looked up from her pad and noticed a cat. "Heavens to Betsy," she claimed. But what she thought was, "I like cats." Deputy Bob blabbered, "If that don't beat all." But what he thought was, "How am I gonna explain this to the sheriff?" A man named Otis chimed in. "I must be seeing things." But what he thought was, "Oh no, not again!" "Holy cow!" hollered Manny the cook. But what he thought was, "Holy cow!" Manny usually says exactly what he thought. The mayor almost choked on his pie. "Good gravy!" he sputtered. But what he thought was, "Those pigs are even fatter than I am." Corky just whistled, but what he thought was, "That duck is smarter than he looks." Gwen came out of the restroom. "Will you look at that?" she exclaimed. But what she thought was, "I can't see a thing without my glasses." Farmer Odell observed, "That dang nice tractor." But what he thought was, "Hey, that's my tractor." He decided he better go after it and ran out the door. Everyone else ran out too and chased after him. By this time, Duck had turned onto the next street. The tractor shuddered to a stop. Duck tried turning the shiny little piece of metal again. Nothing happened. "I don't know much about spelling," said Dog, "but I think that E means it's the end of our ride." She cleared her throat. "You know," she said, "I think we might get in trouble for this." "Let's get out of here," yelled Duck, just as Farmer Odell and everyone from the diner came around the corner. They're all thinking. Everyone burst out laughing. "Nah," they all said. "It couldn't have been. It was all an optical illusion," claimed Otis. Farmer Odell said he must have left his tractor running by accident. "I guess that explains it," Deputy Bob agreed. Then they all went back to the diner to finish their lunch. And no one ever admitted that on that day they had seen a cow, a goat, a cat, a dog, a sheep, a chicken, a horse, 2 pigs, a mouse, and a duck on a tractor. The end.